Before you stands a woman of 20 who is a Christian by faith, a Mizo by race, a Mongoloid by ancestry, who speaks a Tibeto-Burman dialect, Mizo, as a native language, who belongs to the scheduled tribe by constitutional provisions in Part 16 of the Constitution of India, and to the state of Mizoram in the northeastern region of India. But today, I make the proud proclamation that before you stands an Indian. And this proclamation I make with an undistorted sense of who I am. The summation of my identity, however different it may be from yours, is what makes me an Indian. And it is this all-encompassing acceptance that India alone possesses that enables you and I together to chant, Ek Bharat, Shreshtha Bharat. So I come to you as an Indian speaking to fellow Indians, and on this note I greet you Namaste as we do in Hindi, or Tsibai Ule as we do in Mizo. I am Candle Vanrempuii representing the state of Mizoram. Now, patriotism and nation building. The significance of this topic will continually increase so long as our world exists. In times like ours, it is safe to say that globalization has bridged the continents. The whole world can be identified as one big country and the entire human race as one big nation. However, the downside to globalization is the gradual homogenization of the human race. Today, Indians might not know what it is to be an Indian. And patriotism, which is but a reflection of philanthropy, which is but a reflection of humanity, of the love for mankind, seems a far-fetched dream. What must be realized that it is only when people are patriotic that nations rise with the aid of mutual love and service, not amongst a handful of its people, but amongst all people. The drafting committee was set up on 29th August 1947 under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who was himself a Dalit by birth. And this sends the message that India will only stand for equality, non-discrimination, and inclusivity. The preamble to the Constitution then drafted embodies the aspirations of India: justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. And so when a nation like India rises, it does so not to work against other nations, but to work with them, to work alongside them. As proof, India is the largest troop contributor to the United Nations peacekeeping missions. Now, patriotism, unlike nationalism, is broad, it is tolerant. It possesses not an iota of superiority. For us, it is not only the love for India and the willingness to defend it, but the love for our brothers and our sisters that make India. For in the love that India instills, there is a divine union, a holy matrimony between India and Indians. We become India, and India becomes us. One, as should be. And this patriotism demands service, sacrifice, selflessness, as demonstrated by Bapuji through his life. It was our forefather who rightly proclaims the essence of patriotism, that is absolute inclusivity, when he stated, by patriotism, I mean welfare of the whole people. Patriotism does not imply the welfare of a single class, caste, gender, or race of people, but that of each and every Indian. He goes on to say, if I secure it at the hands of my opponents, I should bow my head down to him. This embodies the principle of selflessness that patriotism demands. And on the other hand, nation building, simply put, is the development of a nation. But the right type of development is not only inclusive of the improvement of the country's hardware, its defense system, its infrastructure, but is inclusive of the development of its software, that is its people, as brilliantly expressed by Shashi Tharoor in one of his TED Talks. The invisible development of the visible development of the tangible assets of a nation must be accompanied by the invisible development of the intangible aspect of the nation, and that is its people. The two types of development are complementary and neither one must be neglected. It was Dr. Manmohan Singh who recognized this and said in his inauguration speech that the true strength of a nation lies not in the brute force of the state, but in the robustness of its values and the strength of its moral character. Questions arise time and again as to the answer of who. Who is a patriot and who is a nation builder? The correct one, ladies and gentlemen, is you and I. Against popular culture steered by media, everyone and anyone who loves India, who defends it, who identifies with it and serves it, is a patriot and a nation builder. The farmers in Mizoram, to the journalists in Mumbai, the doctors in Chennai, we are all patriots. Looking back into India's history, Jawaharlal Nehru, Bapuji, Sardar Patel, and other such great men are the prominent leaders of our fight for independence. But what must be realized, ladies and gentlemen, is behind each extraordinary man is a battalion of ordinary men and women like you and I, who through their support, participation, obedience, undying hope, and sacrifice contributed to India's independence. We have a saying in Mizo, "Lungpui po lungte na kam kilaw tsuan ading telaw," which in rough translation states that even boulders cannot stand firm without the support of stones. And in the same way, leaders cannot stand firm without the support of followers. The truth is, India needs patriots and nation builders who follow just as much as it needs ones who lead. India needs all of us. And as Indians, we often say unity in diversity, but the untelevised truth is that this diversity can act as a great challenge for India. There is linguistic diversity with 23 recognized languages, ethnical diversity with descendants from the Dravidians, Indo-Aryans, Mongoloids, Pro-Australoids, Negritos, Western Brachycephals, religious diversity, cultural diversity, class and caste difference. Our India is drowning in an endless ocean of differences. And from these differences arise discriminations, casteism, sexism, racism, regionalism, communalism. However, if India can stop drowning in the endless ocean of differences and start becoming the endless ocean of differences itself, it can be a microcosm of an ideal world that is a diverse world that is one in thought and spirit but different in speech, culture, faith, residing in the arms of an all-accepting mother. And we can make this India together through what I call organic patriotism. That is a patriotism of choice and not of compulsion. Take my case. I remember when I was a kid being taught the national anthem, and to this day, as foreign as the Hindi script may feel to my tongue, it is as familiar as home in my heart. When I was a teenager, I remember reciting a poem of Rabindranath Tagore's, the man who renounced his knighthood to oppose the British Raj. When I was an adolescent, I remember reciting the preamble to our Constitution, hand placed against chest every morning before school started. And today, ladies and gentlemen, as a woman of 20, I stand before you calling myself a patriot and a nation builder because of simple things like these. And that is the first answer to the question of how. From infancy into adulthood, let us bring ourselves up in unapologetic Indianness. And there are three key societal members, as the late APJ Abdul Kalam calls them: the mother, the father, and the teacher. In our homes, let us revel in the joy of being an Indian. In our schools, let us introduce value education and gain deeper knowledge of our shared past, our glorious history that will unfailingly unite us. And secondly, let us use soft power in international affairs. We live in a digital age where the majority of Indians are digital natives. 46.2 million internet users are there in India, with over 118 crore televised households. So in movies, in children's cartoons, in songs, in television shows, let us see ourselves, our story, our India. And from children's books to textbooks, let us read of India and its glorious history, its immortal song. Ladies and gentlemen, no, brothers and sisters, we have a place to call our home today because our ancestors were patriots and nation builders. But now the time has come for us to be the same, so that the children of India's tomorrow will also have a place to call their home. And I am convinced that when you and I, when we stand together, We can and we will make of India the land Tagore saw when he rode into that heaven of freedom. My father, let my country awake, Jai Hind.